Today, I want to talk about something bold, something radical. Become dangerously smart. Not just smart, not just educated, not just informed, but dangerously smart. So capable, so sharp, so unshakably intelligent that people think twice before underestimating you. In today's world, intelligence is often mistaken for academic achievement, test scores, or degrees on a wall. While those may reflect certain abilities, they do not capture the full spectrum of what it means to be truly dangerously smart. A dangerously smart person doesn't just possess knowledge, they know how to use it. Their intelligence is not passive or decorative, it's active, intentional, and focused. They're not just repositories of information, they're practitioners of wisdom. Being dangerously smart starts with mental sharpness, the ability to think quickly, clearly, and critically. It's about having a mind that is trained to ask better questions, to dismantle flawed arguments, and to connect the dots others don't even see. Sharp minds don't accept things at face value. They examine, analyze, and dig deeper. This sharpness becomes a shield against manipulation and a sword for cutting through confusion. It's not about knowing everything, it's about knowing how to think. But sharpness alone isn't enough. A dangerously smart person is also strategic. They understand timing, leverage, positioning, and intention. Intelligence without direction can become noise, but when paired with strategy, it becomes power. These individuals know where to invest their time, when to speak, what battles to fight, and how to align their efforts with long-term outcomes. They don't waste energy reacting to everything. They calculate, anticipate, and move with purpose. Respect, too, is a byproduct of being dangerously smart. It's not demanded, it's earned. People who consistently show clarity of thought, depth of insight, and disciplined execution naturally command respect. They don't have to raise their voices or prove themselves constantly. Their words carry weight because their minds are anchored in substance. Others recognize that they don't speak without thought and they don't act without foresight. Unlike common assumptions, dangerous intelligence doesn't have to be loud, arrogant, or aggressive. In fact, many dangerously smart people are calm, composed, and even quiet. Their confidence isn't showy, it's rooted in competence. They don't need to broadcast their intelligence because it's evident in how they carry themselves, how they make decisions, and how they solve problems. Their presence alone often signals depth. What separates the dangerously smart from the merely knowledgeable is application. Knowing things is easy in the age of Google, but knowing how to use what you know to shape outcomes, shift conversations, or build systems, that's rare. These people don't just store knowledge, they weaponize it. Every book, every experience, every mistake becomes part of a mental arsenal they can draw from at will. This form of intelligence also includes emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Dangerously smart people aren't just intellectually sharp, they're deeply attuned to human behavior. They know how to read a room, navigate power dynamics, and communicate effectively across different contexts. They are not manipulated by flattery or thrown off by criticism. Their intelligence is integrated, balanced, and holistic. In essence, to be dangerously smart is to wield your mind as a masterful tool, not only to advance yourself, but also to influence the world around you with precision and integrity. It's the difference between being impressive on paper and being impactful in real life. And in a noisy, distracted, and often deceptive world, this level of intelligence is not only rare, it's revolutionary. Being smart isn't just about accumulating facts or being good at trivia. True intelligence, dangerous intelligence, is rooted in purpose. It means knowing why you're learning, why you're doing, and why you're thinking the way you do. A person who uses their mind with purpose doesn't just react to life, they design it. Their thoughts are not scattered or impulsive. They know where they're going and they align their intellectual efforts to that direction. This is the foundation of intentional living. Thinking with a target in mind, not just thinking for thinking's sake. Purpose-driven intelligence cuts through the distractions that plague most people. While others waste time chasing shallow success, dangerously smart individuals pursue depth. They know what they value and they think in alignment with those values. Whether it's building a career, solving a problem, or responding to adversity, they approach every challenge with clarity of purpose. This isn't just mental discipline, it's mental alignment. Their thoughts aren't random. They're calculated and they serve a higher goal. Alongside purpose, power is what makes intelligence transformative. Mental power is the ability to influence, to persuade, to create impact through your ideas. It's not about overpowering others with intellect. It's about constructing arguments that change minds, offering solutions that shape reality, and leading with insight that inspires action. People who wield their intelligence powerfully don't just know what's right, they can make others see it too. Their intellect is magnetic because it's rooted in conviction and clarity. Powerful thinking also requires mental strength. It takes endurance to study what others avoid. It takes resilience to stick to principles when shortcuts are tempting. It takes courage to question accepted beliefs, to stand alone in your logic, and to challenge norms when they don't make sense. Dangerously smart people aren't swayed by trends or groupthink. They have trained their minds to be strong, not just bright. They hold their own in debates not because they yell louder, but because their arguments are grounded and unshakable. Then comes precision, the fine edge that separates good thinkers from elite ones. Precision is about clarity, articulation, and accuracy. It's the ability to take a complex issue and express it simply. It's knowing how to say the right thing to the right person at the right time with the right tone. Dangerously smart individuals don't ramble or flex their vocabulary for approval. They speak with surgical exactness. Their intelligence doesn't confuse, it clarifies. Their ideas don't overwhelm, they cut clean through. Precision also manifests in decision-making. A dangerously smart person doesn't rush into things. They gather data, test assumptions, and assess consequences. They are methodical and intentional, not paralyzed by options or blinded by urgency. Their thinking process is refined like a blade, sharp, smooth, and built for effective outcomes. When others hesitate, they strike. And when they act, they do so knowing exactly why and how. Using the mind with purpose, power, and precision also means rejecting mental laziness. It means doing the hard thinking when it's uncomfortable. It means being brutally honest with yourself, dissecting your own flaws and not letting emotion override logic. This kind of discipline is rare because it's demanding, but it's also what separates those who float through life from those who lead it. Dangerously smart people don't avoid hard thoughts. They seek them out. They know that clarity lies on the other side of effort. And ultimately, the mind is a tool. For most, it's underused or misdirected. But for those who commit to sharpening it with purpose, wielding it with power, and aiming it with precision, it becomes a force that builds businesses, shapes cultures, disrupts systems, and protects freedom. Not everyone needs to become dangerously smart, but those who do become impossible to ignore and impossible to defeat. The ultimate goal of becoming dangerously smart isn't just to be admired or to win arguments, it's to be free. Freedom is the natural byproduct of applied intelligence. When you begin thinking for yourself, making informed decisions, and seeing the world clearly, you start to unlock levels of autonomy that most people never reach. Intelligence becomes a tool of liberation because it gives you the ability to navigate life without relying on others to do your thinking, planning, or choosing for you. Mental freedom is the first and most important form. The dangerously smart person is not chained by mental fog, confusion, or dependence on popular opinion. They don't consume ideas blindly. They dissect them. They aren't slaves to routine thinking or imprisoned by cultural norms that don't serve them. Instead, they shape their beliefs with intentional thought. Mental freedom means having the capacity to hold two ideas in tension, to change your mind with evidence, and to be immune to manipulation. It's the ability to choose your thoughts rather than being driven by noise. From that mental freedom arises emotional freedom. When you understand how your thoughts influence your feelings, you start to master your inner world. Dangerously smart people are not easily rattled. They do not crumble under pressure or lash out impulsively. Their intelligence extends inward. They recognize emotional patterns, manage stress intentionally, and develop resilience because they understand the psychology behind human behavior, including their own. Emotional freedom isn't the absence of feeling, it's the ability to respond, not react. Most people live emotionally enslaved lives, controlled by approval, validation, fear of rejection, or past trauma. But dangerously smart individuals break that cycle. They know how to question their triggers, neutralize toxic patterns, and separate fact from emotion. Their mind becomes a sanctuary of clarity, even in the middle of chaos. That kind of internal freedom is rare and powerful, because once you own your emotions, nobody else can use them against you. Then comes financial freedom, which is often the most visible result of applied intelligence. This isn't just about getting rich. It's about understanding systems, how money works, how value is exchanged, how economies move. Dangerously smart people don't blindly follow financial trends. They study them. They learn how to think like owners, not just consumers. They develop skills, identify leverage, and build streams of income that don't require constant time for money trades. Intelligence, when aimed at finance, becomes a tool for long-term independence. Financial freedom also comes from avoiding common traps. While many people get caught in cycles of debt, impulsive spending, or paycheck dependence, the dangerously smart individual plays a different game. They are deliberate with money. They study it, respect it, and control it. Their intelligence allows them to see opportunities others miss. Whether it's investing, creating, or negotiating, they don't chase wealth, they design it. And because their approach is strategic, their financial foundation becomes hard to shake. True intelligence also creates freedom of association. When you're mentally sharp and emotionally grounded, you don't cling to toxic relationships or tolerate disrespect. You're free to walk away, to choose your circles, and to demand excellence from those around you. Dangerously smart people don't stay in environments that limit them. They're not afraid to be alone because they value growth more than approval. That freedom to choose your environment is the soil where greatness grows. At its highest form, dangerous intelligence gives you freedom over your life direction. You no longer drift, you steer. You stop blaming, stop waiting, and start creating. You build careers instead of clinging to jobs. You write your own definitions of success. And because your intelligence is both practical and philosophical, you don't just achieve external milestones, you create an inner peace that can't be bought, sold, or taken away. There are millions of people walking around with incredible potential. Geniuses with brilliant ideas, visionaries with deep insights, strategists with well-mapped plans. Yet the world doesn't remember most of them. Why? Because potential that isn't acted on becomes irrelevant. It's execution, not potential, that makes someone dangerous. A dangerously smart person doesn't just know what to do, they do it consistently, relentlessly, without waiting for perfect conditions. Potential is passive. It's what could happen. It's the seed, but execution is growth. It's the harvest. Potential by itself is nothing more than uncashed opportunity. You can be the most insightful person in the room, but if you never apply that insight, if you never translate thought into movement, then you stay invisible. The dangerously smart understand this. They do not overthink to the point of paralysis. They know when to shift from learning mode to doing mode. Execution is where intelligence meets courage. It's one thing to know what needs to be done. It's another thing entirely to step into uncertainty and do it. Smart people who are dangerous don't wait for someone else to validate them. They initiate, they launch, they build, they experiment, and they are not afraid to fail because they understand that action produces data. And data produces growth. Every move is a learning opportunity. Every attempt is a step closer to mastery. Many intellectually gifted people stay stuck because they obsess over perfection. But dangerously smart people know that perfection is often a form of fear. Instead of trying to get everything flawless on the first try, they aim for progress. They believe in refining as they go. They execute fast, adapt fast, and improve fast. Speed matters. Not because of haste, but because momentum is a force. Once you're moving, clarity increases, confidence grows, opportunities multiply. Execution also sharpens intelligence. Thinking and doing feed each other. When you execute on your ideas, you start to notice nuances that theory never taught you. You gain practical wisdom. You refine your decision-making. You uncover gaps in your knowledge. You develop intuition that only action can create. That's why dangerously smart people evolve quickly. They're not just smart in theory, they're smart in motion. They're not armchair strategists, they field generals. The world responds to action. Investors invest in action, not ideas. Teams follow those who move, not those who talk. Clients pay for results, not potential. And history remembers doers, not dreamers. That's why the dangerously smart don't just read about systems, they build them. They don't just critique the world, they shape it. Their legacy is written in what they've executed, not what they've imagined. Action over time becomes impact, and impact creates legacy. Execution also sets you apart in a world filled with distractions and excuses. Most people are too busy scrolling, doubting, or procrastinating. Dangerously smart people are busy building. They're in the arena, getting bruised, learning lessons, and earning respect, while others talk about what they could do, they are already doing it. This contrast makes them powerful because inaction is the norm and execution is now rare. And what is rare becomes valuable. So the message is clear. Knowledge is the blueprint, but execution is the brick and mortar. Without action, even the most brilliant mind becomes a storage unit of unused ideas. But with action, even an average idea can turn into a revolution. Dangerously smart people understand this and they live by it. They don't just know the path, they walk it. And that's why they win. The dangerously smart never stop learning. They treat knowledge the way an athlete treats training. It's not optional, it's survival. In a world that changes at breakneck speed, staying still intellectually is the same as falling behind. Dangerously smart individuals know this, which is why they read voraciously, explore constantly, and remain eternally curious. They do not learn only to pass exams or win debates. They learn to grow, to adapt, and to remain powerful in any room they enter. Their learning is not shallow. It's not about quick summaries or flashy headlines. They go deep, immersing themselves in books, data, case studies, and complex discussions. They understand that depth creates insight, and insight creates leverage. They dig into original sources, historical contexts, foundational principles, not just trendy content. They aren't satisfied with knowing what works. They want to know why it works. That deep understanding gives them flexibility and foresight that surface-level thinkers lack. But learning isn't just about collecting information, it's about questioning everything. Dangerously smart people don't blindly accept what they're told. Even if it comes from an authority figure, a popular voice, or a trusted institution, they ask, is this true? Who benefits from this narrative? What assumptions are hiding in this logic? This habit of critical questioning protects them from manipulation, misinformation, and herd thinking. They are not easily fooled because they've trained themselves to pause, think, and verify. Questioning also means challenging themselves. They don't protect their egos by defending weak ideas. They actively seek out contradiction, disagreement, and feedback. This intellectual humility is a hidden strength. It allows them to constantly upgrade their understanding without the emotional baggage of pride. Dangerously smart people don't fear being wrong, they fear staying wrong. And that difference makes them evolve much faster than the average person. Their thinking is intentional and disciplined. They carve out time for deep thought, something increasingly rare in today's distracted culture. They don't rely on shallow multitasking or reactive thinking. Instead, they sit with complex problems, map out possibilities, and let ideas mature in silence. Deep thinking means taking your mind beyond the immediate, beyond the obvious. Is not comfortable. It requires patience, focus, and often solitude, but it's where true breakthroughs live. Technology has made it easy to skim, scroll, and forget, but dangerously smart people resist that pull. They know that consuming information is not the same as digesting it. They reflect, they write, they speak about what they've learned, they apply it in real life. Every lesson becomes internalized, turned into a tool or a lens through which they can navigate reality. Their knowledge becomes functional, not just theoretical. This level of learning and thinking makes them extremely adaptable. When the market shifts, when crises strike, or when new opportunities appear, they don't panic. They analyze. They apply pattern recognition, systems thinking, and cross-disciplinary knowledge to respond intelligently. They are lifelong learners, not because it's trendy, but because it's essential to remain mentally dominant in a rapidly evolving world. To be dangerously smart is to make learning, questioning, and deep thinking part of your daily rhythm. Not as a chore, but as a lifestyle. It's a mindset that says there is always more to know. And the smarter I become, the more strategic I get. That mindset doesn't just improve what you know, it transforms how you live. In a world increasingly obsessed with visibility, the dangerously smart move in the opposite direction. They do not crave constant attention or validation. They aren't fixated on how many likes a post gets, how many followers they have, or how loudly their name is echoed. They care about understanding, truly grasping the ideas, systems, and realities that shape the world. While others chase approval, they chase comprehension. This focus gives them a quieter power, one that is rooted, not rented. Understanding is a slow and often invisible process. It requires patience, humility, and concentration. It means sitting with uncertainty, admitting what you don't know, and doing the work to figure it out. It doesn't always look impressive on the outside. There's no applause for hours spent studying or reflecting, but dangerously smart people don't need the applause. They understand that the deepest thinkers in history were often unrecognized in their time. Popularity fades, but understanding compounds. This mindset is why they choose depth over popularity. They would rather master one subject than skim 10. They would rather have one meaningful conversation than perform for 100 spectators. They aren't afraid to be unknown in a world where everyone wants to be seen. Because what they know is this: when your knowledge runs deep, people eventually come to you. The popular often chase the moment, the deep create legacy, and dangerously smart people are in it for the long game. Choosing depth means embracing solitude. It means being okay with spending time away from the noise. While others are curating their image, dangerously smart individuals are building their substance. They go down intellectual rabbit holes, follow obscure ideas, and explore uncomfortable truths. They don't care if their pursuits make them less relatable. They care if their understanding makes them more effective. Their loyalty is to truth, not trend. Because they value understanding, they are extremely hard to fool. Surface level manipulation doesn't work on them. They ask the questions most are too distracted to ask. They look for the mechanics beneath the performance. If someone presents a new system, they want to know how it works, why it works, and what's missing. This constant inquiry gives them a powerful edge in a world where many operate blindly on hype and hearsay. Their refusal to chase attention also gives them control. They don't have to say yes to every opportunity. They are not addicted to being in the spotlight, which means they're free to be strategic. They appear when it matters, speak when it counts, and disappear when it's time to build. This makes their presence feel rare. And rare things are respected. Their silence often says more than other people's noise. And when they do speak, people listen. There is a calm confidence that comes from valuing understanding over attention. The dangerously smart are not thrown off by public opinion. They are not rattled by criticism or inflated by praise. Their worth isn't dictated by metrics. It's anchored in knowledge and clarity. This self-possession is a form of intellectual independence. They don't just know who they are, they know why they think the way they do. And that inner architecture is what gives them strength. Ultimately, their power lies in what the world can't see. It's the internal fortress of deeply earned understanding. It's the wisdom accumulated in quiet hours. It's the depth that no algorithm can measure. While the world celebrates surface-level success, the dangerously smart build unshakable foundations beneath the surface. And when storms come, as they always do, it's not the loudest voices that survive. It's the deepest roots. We live in a time when information is everywhere, yet true understanding is rare. Data is abundant, but wisdom is scarce. Misinformation spreads faster than facts, and distractions multiply by the second. Social media platforms, 24/7 news cycles, and algorithm-driven content streams keep people in a state of cognitive overload. In such an environment, the ability to think clearly, question critically, and remain mentally focused is not just useful, it's revolution. To be dangerously smart today is to rebel against intellectual decay. Misinformation thrives in speed and simplicity. It offers easy answers, emotional bait, and viral appeal. But dangerously smart individuals are not seduced by surface-level narratives. They read beyond headlines. They check sources. They investigate context. They don't just ask what happened. They ask who benefits from this? What's the evidence? What's the historical pattern behind this event? Their intelligence becomes a defense system, one that filters truth from noise and keeps their thinking sharp in a sea of confusion. This form of disciplined thinking is a quiet rebellion. In a society where it's normal to accept things at face value, the dangerously smart slow down and ask better questions. Where others react, they reflect. Where others scroll mindlessly, they engage with depth. And where others outsource their thinking to influencers, institutions, or ideology, they reclaim it as their own. This intellectual autonomy makes them ungovernable by manipulation. And that's what makes them dangerous in the best sense of the word. But it's not just resistance, it's leadership. In times of crisis, confusion, or rapid change, people look for someone who can make sense of the chaos. They want clarity, direction, and confidence. Dangerously smart people provide that, not through charisma alone, but through competence. They lead by example. They model what disciplined thought, emotional composure, and ethical decision-making look like in real time. Their influence grows not because they chase attention, but because they radiate insight. True leadership doesn't always come with a title. It comes from the ability to see clearly when others are blind, to stay grounded when others are panicking, and to speak truth when it's inconvenient. The dangerously smart are often the ones behind the scenes, pulling the right levers, asking the hard questions, and offering solutions others are too distracted to find. Their leadership emerges not through noise, but through impact, through decisions that shift direction, strategies that solve problems, and words that cut through fog. In a world conditioned to react emotionally, the dangerously smart cultivate reason. They practice restraint. They respond with precision. This balance between intellect and emotional control positions them as stabilizers in unstable times. While others flip-flop, retreat, or follow trends blindly, they stand firm on principles. And that firmness isn't rigidity, it's clarity. They know what they believe and why. They have thought deeply, questioned extensively, and prepared quietly. That's what makes their leadership trustworthy. Moreover, their resistance to distraction enables focus that is now a superpower. While the average person struggles to finish a page or hold a thought for more than a few seconds, the dangerously smart can enter flow, sustain attention, and do deep work. This focus makes them producers in a world of consumers. Builders in a world of imitators. Their clarity of thought becomes a form of cultural leadership, showing others that it's still possible to live, think, and act intentionally. To be dangerously smart today is to take a stand, not with signs or slogans, but with thought, behavior, and strategy. It's to reject the cheapness of performative intelligence and embrace the quiet rigor of real understanding. It's to lead not by controlling others, but by mastering yourself. In a time when so many are lost in distraction, the dangerously smart walk a different path. They don't follow noise, they create signal. Becoming dangerously smart is not about having the highest IQ or collecting degrees. It's about becoming intentional with your mind. It's about choosing depth over popularity, execution over ego, and clarity over chaos. In a world drowning in noise, dangerously smart individuals rise above by thinking for themselves, acting with precision, and refusing to be distracted from what truly matters. They do not wait for permission to grow. They study relentlessly, question boldly, and execute ruthlessly. They are not seduced by trends or approval because they are too busy building something real within themselves and in the world around them. Their minds are sharpened like blades, not to harm, but to cut through confusion, illusion, and mediocrity. In an era of artificial intelligence, digital overload, and constant manipulation, becoming dangerously smart is not just impressive, it's essential. It is a form of resistance. It is a form of self-defense. But more than anything, it is a form of leadership. When you become dangerously smart, you become the kind of person the world cannot ignore, cannot control, and cannot easily replace. So read deeply, think critically, move boldly, guard your focus, honor your time, cultivate your mind like it's the most valuable asset you own, because it is. In doing so, you won't just thrive, you'll lead, you'll change rooms, you'll shift conversations, and in time, you'll become exactly what this distracted world desperately needs: a clear, sharp, powerful force. Be dangerously smart, not just for your success, but for your survival, and then for the impact you are destined to leave behind.